Hey everybody, and welcome back to Your Guide to Being a Successful UNISA Student on TGIFS. Okay, so this is episode 11. I'm going to be telling you my tips and tricks to succeeding in your exams. Okay, so you need to start well in advance. For me, I like to start really in advance, so like maybe 2 months, even 3 months if I can, in advance. But sometimes it does come down to the wire and the last minute when you just realize something that you needed to study. But it all depends on you and your stress when you should start studying. Your stress levels. I mean, if you start like the day before, you're gonna be super stressed. So yeah, probably not a good idea. So when I study, I would like to read the material once through first. That would include tutorial letters. That would be your first tutorial letter 101, your feedback on assignments, any other additional tutorial letters that you have. And then I would also want to read the study guide and the prescribed book. If you don't know what a prescribed book is and I haven't told you yet, well, a prescribed book is basically an extra book that UNISA wants you to buy because they could not fit everything into the study guide. So yeah, that is a prescribed book. So I would want to read everything first off, once off. Then I would want to read again. And this time I'd take a highlighter or take a pen and I'd write down notes or highlight certain parts that I think is appropriate for those particular sections. For some sections in the book is not examinable. They would say it's not examinable, or some sections are. And I'd highlight what I would need to know, or say for example, they're explaining a concept and using like a whole paragraph to explain a concept. But the first sentence says what that concept actually is and you understand it. So you would obviously just highlight the first sentence instead of all the other sentences that followed on with it. Unless they had some more in-depth thing, like they're telling you that it divides into categories or something like that. That's more. You'll understand when you're reading your material where you need to highlight and where you need to highlight. Also, what we find is interesting is if you're doing law specifically and you have a whole bunch of cases, what we do is we write the cases on a piece of paper, we write them all big, and then what we do is we actually stick them on the walls. It's a trick that we've learned that if you stick it on the wall, you will eventually turn to that wall and you'll eventually see it like right in your face. So you're always looking at it basically and seeing those, what have you written on the wall. So it's the wall trick. Okay. Another trick, depending on what type of student you are, if you do better with visual, like reading and mind maps and whatnot, if you do better with audio, like hearing, speaking, or textile, which is just hands-on doing. I'm an audio person, so I like to repeat things over and over again. So I would basically test myself on certain sections in a certain particular order. So, and sometimes I'll mix up that order and I'll recite the answers to whatever I need to know. Okay, so another thing that you could also do before the exams is go through past papers. Now, lectures don't really want us to go mainly on past papers because sometimes they do change, and we understand that, but I mean, majority of them don't. What we do is we like to get a whole list of exam papers, so like possibly 5 years worth of exam papers. So you got 2 exams in the year. You got May, June exams, and you got October, November. So that's basically 10 papers in total. So we like to get 10 papers so we can see from the years which questions have come up more frequently than others, which questions we can then see if, like, say for example, question A comes out like in nearly all of the paper, it's a possibility that's going to come out, or they might actually leave out A this time to actually make it more confusing. And say like question B comes out here and there, so like it comes out in 1 year, then it doesn't come out, and then it comes out in the next year. It's a possibility that it's either going to come out this year or the next year. So you get an idea from looking at the exam paper when certain questions will come out and when certain questions fall away. And sometimes with the questions, they just reword it. That's the funny thing. They just reword the question. It's asking for the same concept, but it's just reworded. So yes, that is some of the things that I do when studying. Highlighting, taking the best and leaving what is not important, making notes, rehearse, basically, repeat, the wall trick, examination prep. Oh, and with multiple choice questions, what we like to do is we actually like to go and look for the answers for the multiple choice questions while we're studying, because sometimes with the multiple choice questions they're going to be repeated. So if you're able to answer them without looking at the answers later on, so basically you would look for the answers first, write down the answers that you think are correct, which is you using the textbook to look for the answers. So you're going to be 98% on the ball. Okay, so then what you'd do is you would cover up the answer and you'd actually read the question as it is. So you'd actually get someone else to read you the question and the options, and then you would choose which is the correct option by saying it verbally. That's what helps me a lot, is verbally. So those are my tips and tricks for the examination. Yeah, I hope they help you as well as they've helped me. I've gotten my success. If you want to know about my success, I suggest you go to episode 0, why you should listen to a student like me. But otherwise, hit like and hit subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's really awesome and really fun. So as this is the second last episode of TGIFS, next week will be the last episode of TGIFS, and I will see you then, okay, for that thrilling episode, the last episode. See you then.